your source for all things Texas Tech. This is the Ask Level podcast from the Double T Sports Network.
Make it 5 in a row for the Texas Tech basketball team. In today's episode, we talk about the Red Raiders' win over Houston, the upcoming schedule. Portal talk is winding down while draft chatter is heating up, and we dive into a heap of questions from the audience. Ask Level podcast, as usual, brought to you by our friends at Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This is Mike Hebert, the proud owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. We've been serving West Texas for all of your residential and commercial construction needs for the past 9 years. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. Together, we are one serving you.
Alongside Chris Level, I'm Chois Woodman. Level, how you doing today? You brave?
A heap.
A heap.
A heap. Yeah, that's right. That's is that like 3 or 27 or what's a heap?
I don't know if it's defined.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm still trying to thaw out. It
Yeah.
was fun for a bit, but I'm kind of done with it.
Did you get on on a sled of any sort?
No, I did not. My son did, but no, not this guy.
I was really hoping there'd be some video of Chris Level.
I try not to take too many chances later on in life. I just feel like that the risk reward is not really there.
That's probably a wise decision.
You're much younger than I am, so you can still take some of those chances, and the risk is probably not there. But in my early 50s, so I mean, again, I'm still young at heart. I just I'm not gonna get on a piece of cardboard or a piece of plastic on top of a hill with no way to stop and just go. I mean, that's not how I'm rolling. I actually saw. And this is why, I saw a guy being pulled almost like a boat in an inner tube, right? He was driving around my neighborhood on snow skis, holding on the back of a rope.
That's awesome.
This was like on Sunday. I mean, I guess it was awesome, but I'm thinking like, I guess you just let go to stop, because if the car stops, you just kind of ski on by or do the whole snow plow to kind of slow yourself down. Where is the curb? There was all kinds of things, but yeah, it was fresh powder. But yeah, he was just skiing around the neighborhood. So
yeah, these are not the things you think of when you're starting this up of like, how do I stop? These are people that are doing this stuff. That's not at the forefront.
No exit strategy. It's
Exactly.
a great idea, but no exit strategy. Yeah,
exactly. Hopefully all of you were able to brave the cold. We had quite a few Red Raider fans brave it and figure out a way to get to the arena. Really good crowd for circumstances, and got to witness a big win over Houston. Texas Tech, the only team that can say they've beaten Houston Big 12 wise in the last 2 seasons.
I know. 31-2
Man.
are the Houston Cougars. I mean, that's wild.
Yes, it is.
16 road wins in a row. And every time I come home from a road win with this basketball team, or football for that matter, you feel fortunate, because you just can't take anything for granted in the league that you're in either sport. And to do that 16 times in a row is just insane. But I thought your team is starting to, they met the challenge, and I just never in my wildest dreams, and this is the beauty of sports, thought that you would be able to out-rebound these dudes by plus 16 and plus 10 on the offensive glass. Because this is what, I mean, Kelvin Sampson said as much after the game. He's like, this is how we make a living.
Yeah.
Like this very thing. You want to know the identity of our program and why we've won 16 in a row, and it's because they just hammer people on the glass, specifically on the offensive glass, and not that day. So it and like, I know a lot of people felt like Jalen Petty was, couldn't guard Kingston Flemings, and he had a hard time. And there was some method to the madness there on leaving him one-on-one there, and they finally made the switch and put Atwell on him and Christian Anderson on him at the later part of the game. But Jalen Petty's ability to rebound is one of these sneaky key things going on with your team. I mean, he had eight boards. He's 6'1".
Smallest guy on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guarantee he's got the highest vertical.
Yes. Yeah.
Bunnies, as the kids would say. But yeah, I mean, I just that was a lot of fun to kind of beat them at their own game, and that's what Grant really sought out to do, and that's easier said than done because that Houston program is a absolute handful, and that's a top five, likely a top five pick that came in and put 42 up on you.
And you survived it. Like that's not a common thing to be able to have someone go off on a day like that and you be able to survive it and find a way to win despite a game like that from Kingston Flemings.
And are you kind of aware of the thought process behind that?
The he's going to get his, don't let someone else beat you or what?
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
Um, I think they made a conscious decision. This is why they're much smarter than I am. And you play the numbers a little
Sure.
bit, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But they play the numbers in that we're going to leave him one on one.
Hmm.
Here's our rules. We're not going to let him take threes, and we're not going to foul him. If he can take and make tough twos, we're going to live with it. And they did.
Yeah.
And it full at times, you're like, God, he's scoring every time down. But you didn't foul him, you didn't put him on the stripe, and you eliminated. Because how did they beat you the first time you played? It was Kingston Flemings from behind the arc at the end of the game with two
Yep.
just dagger threes. And the method of the madness was that you leave all four other of your other defenders attached to focus on rebounding. So if they do miss, and he didn't miss probably as much as they would have wanted, but you're there to rebound them. And so over time, the 42 points, it didn't hurt you because there was no and one. You're not putting him on the stripe. You're not putting yourself in foul trouble, and you're not letting him take rhythm threes, and then you're crushing them on the glass. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It is just fascinating to kind
Yeah.
of, and then what happened was it also because he was doing his thing, Milo Suzan was kind of a non-factor.
Hmm.
Emmanuel Sharp, it turned out everybody just kind of stood around and watched a little bit, and it kind of took a lot of those other guys out of the flow of the game because it was just a one-on-one game, and Houston kept drinking from that fountain, and finally it dried up. So I don't know. It's just kind of because I just wouldn't have. These are the chess match and the game within the game kind of stuff that goes on that you're just not really cognizant of until after the fact and go, this is what we were trying to do. Okay, well, and it worked, not by a lot, but it didn't need to work by a lot. It worked enough, and you got to win. That's all that really matters.
Our first question level comes from Tyler. It says, Level, did you ever think this team would be tough enough to pull 21 offensive rebounds against Houston?
I think we would all. I mean, I would have serious doubts there. Yeah, but see, this is. I never would have thought you could beat Houston without your head coach and the Big 12 Player of the Year at
True.
Houston too. I just think that this is an extremely well coached group. That there is some serious talent here, and the coaches would say we can draw up all kinds of stuff that we want or have a mindset, but you have to have the pieces to execute.
Hmm.
I can get you shots. I can't go make them for you, but right now you've got guys that are knocking down these shots. And yet the players would probably say that their coaching staff is putting them in a really good spot and they are getting better. They are listening to what they're being coached to do, specifically on defense. And anyway, but yeah, probably not. But this is a Grant McCaslin coach team. And at some point, we'll just learn that they're going to get better as the year goes, and that it's never a finished product. And they rarely no show. I'll
Yeah.
just say that. That's the sign of a really good coach. They rarely no show. And what I'm seeing now is that the threes are still coming, but now you're starting to figure out different paths to victory.
Sure.
getting to the free throw line. Your defense is starting to do some things. Now you're kind of crushing people on the glass, making a habit of it. So, because I just had wondered a month ago, what happens when you show up and you can't knock down the threes?
Yeah.
But when you got JT Toppin, you're going to get threes
Yeah.
every game.
Well, there it is. I mean, speaking of path to victory, having the Big 12 Player of the Year helps a lot. Can you have a guy that's been named Big 12 Player of the Week 3 of the last 4 weeks and still say he's undervalued or underrated? Because it almost
Yeah,
feels like.
a little bit. And it's funny because I've heard him referred to as like an old head. I've heard him referred to as like the old man in the room. He's a true junior. A
Mhm.
true junior. There's no redshirt year. This is his third year in college. But because he is surrounded in this league by so many talented freshmen
Mhm.
that are being talked about as, I mean, Kingston Fleming's top five pick, AJ DeBonsa going to be the top pick, or Darren Peterson, the guy that'll be here this coming Monday night, could be the top pick. So that's three of the top five picks in your conference, and they're all freshmen. And you know what Arizona's doing with Koa Pete
Mhm.
and Jaron Bradley and Brandon Burries, who's another first round. So I think in some ways, yeah, and it's also why I would not just totally rule out him coming back next year either.
It'd be pretty crazy. But man, he is. I
But
think.
maybe not. But maybe not crazy.
But I mean, just Grant McCaslin's talked about it, the improvement that you've seen from him
Hmm.
overall, and it's hard to imagine you would have gotten improvement after the season he had last year, but he has, and obviously puts you in a position where you're one of the true contenders in this league.
Because last year Woodman he missed a month in
Hmm.
November into December. He was kind of a non-factor for the first, say, couple of weeks of the conference season. He had a big game against UCF, a game that you lost, on New Year's Eve a year ago, and then there was the two-game road swing to Utah and BYU. He was just a non-factor, battle foul trouble. He was sitting on the bench, kind of like, and people were going, man, what's the deal here? Is he checked out? And all these things. And it took a bit, but see, you haven't had that this year. This year,
Yeah,
it's just been consistently great all season, and that's very difficult to do. The hardest thing to achieve in sports is basically be consistent at a high level. We see flashes from a lot of folks, teams, players, this and that, but they can't sustain it. And he's been able to sustain it throughout. It doesn't matter
sure.
where he's played or who he's played against, and again, he's not through the woods yet. There's still plenty of tough tests to come. But yeah, it's been pretty fascinating to watch. And the best improvement he's made, honestly, is on defense.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's been on defense. I mean, look, he's got 32 blocks, man. He has 32 block shots. So, and playing without fouling and holding up in the post, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, he's easy and very fun to talk about.
Couple more basketball questions from the audience before we get into the UCF and Kansas games. This one comes from Jason. It says, "Who was more mad at the refs Saturday, McCasland or Sampson?"
And, and to be fair, that's a really difficult game to try to officiate.
Yes, it is.
Um, there is a level of, okay, if we let them play, it's just almost too physical. If you call everything, there is no game. So you try to find a balance, and then both coaches have a problem on when that balance is trying to be achieved.
Hmm.
But you had a couple of haymakers thrown that were flagrant fouls. Both should have been called flagrant fouls, one on Lawan Watts. And I loved the one from Lawan because he just shoulder checked a guy
Yeah,
because his coach had gotten through to him and the team. This is what it takes to rebound. You
yeah,
go hit first. And now he should he have you got to show your hands, and there's probably technically a better way to do it, but I love the mindset. And then what was it? Jalen Petty got grabbed around the neck and thrown down.
yeah, yeah,
That's just the physical nature to which so yeah, they were both getting their money's worth, and even Grant got teed up, which is rare. It hadn't happened much.
yeah, yeah. But Yeah, I think there were obviously moments where both got frustrated within the game. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's funny because the I'm down there really close, and I can't hear what necessarily is being said. Some cases I can.
hmm,
Kelvin Sampson's like either arms being crossed or his hands on his hips, and he demands respect. The guy's a Hall of Fame coach, right? And Grant's same is like he'll stomp or he'll go up to the official and cover
he
his mouth
covers
up,
mouth.
and it's like, which is smart. I think it's pretty funny
Yeah.
to see the different animations from the different head coaches. But
Yeah.
Grant is starting to earn some respect in this league for sure because he's earned it.
Speaking of Grant, this question's from Grant. It says, Level loved seeing Josiah Mosley out there. Do you have a timetable on when we could see Luke Mamboye back?
I think that could be as early as Saturday. Yeah, I do. I think it's imminent. I don't know. Like Mosley, like minute restriction. Um, at what level is he? It's very difficult to start acclimating guys in right now. This is the task that you've got in front of you, though. There's just nothing else you can do about it. So, I thought it was interesting because Josiah Mosley comes in, played 3 minutes, knocks down a couple of threes, a couple of offensive rebounds, and then we don't see him for the rest of the half. And I thought, well, that's interesting. But you have to remember, I mean, as Grant pointed out after the game, McCaslin, not the question asker here, but hey, he's practiced twice. So and boy, what a spot to put a kid in.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to break the seal on your season. You're going to do it in front of this crowd against this opponent. And these are arguably the most important minutes he'd ever played in his college basketball career. Do you realize what he was from three last year at Villanova in his freshman year?
No.
He was 0 for 3.
Really?
These were the first, and he's 2 for 2 this year. Are you kidding me? So these were the first college career 3-point makes he had, and he just happens to do them against the top 10 team in a massive conference game is just fascinating to me. But his work on the glass.
Hmm.
That's where it's going to pay dividends here. And his position flex, his ability to play the three, the four, the five, if ever needed. And I love that they had the midweek bye this week
Yeah.
because if anything, it gives him more practices, more time to get acclimated to scheme. And he's been traveling with us. He's been in all the meetings. He knows what everybody's supposed to be doing, but you gotta go do it.
Right.
And now he could start to build off of it. But yeah, he's going to be a. I look at it as in who do you have your money tied up into? You have a lot of money tied up into Josiah Mosley and Luke Bamboye. So that's how important you felt they were going to be to your team. And if you get them both back and kind of involved here, you feel like you have a lot of room to grow. And heaven forbid JT or Christian Anderson get a break every once in a while.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Level, look towards your next two games, UCF and Kansas. UCF is the game on Saturday. After you mentioned it, you get the kind of the midweek bye here. Dangerous game there. One that a team that's
Oh yeah.
projected to be in the tournament as it sits right now. And then obviously the big game against Kansas, who might be the hottest team outside of Arizona in your league. So, what challenges are you seeing in these two games in particular?
So yeah, UCF is one of the best stories in the league, to be honest. I mean, I think that Johnny Dawkins was on the hot seat a year ago. He comes in on the hot seat this year, and everybody's trying to figure out where this thing's going to go. And they've been really they're 16-4. I mean, they have the same record as you, not in the league. They're 5-3 in the league, and you're 6-1 in the league, but they've been a bright spot. I mean, you're right. This is a quad one game for
Hmm.
Texas Tech. I think Ken Palm has got them as like a top 40 team. They're going to have a ton of confidence. And oh, by the way, your good buddy Devin Cambridge is going to be suiting up
Yeah.
for the Knights, which that ended here poorly, I think is fair to say.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't think everybody was wishing each other well after that ended a year ago at semester. And he's a role player for these Knights, but I will say this: they've got a bunch of athletic parts. I've watched them enough. It's kind of wonky at times on how connected they are, and it really shows up on the defensive end. They're not great defensively, so I would give you this statement. I think that you may have to help them a bit if they're going to beat you.
Okay.
But what if you show up and you're not knocking down shot? I mean, the place is going to be sold out. I mean, I
Sure.
watched them earlier this week versus Arizona State. Arizona State had them dead to rights, up 11, and then UCF goes on an 11-0 run at the end of the game, and they start pouring in threes from everywhere, and they pull it off. So they're going to come in with a ton of confidence. This would be their biggest win of the year, and that's the way they're viewing it, is like this is a hell of an opportunity. This is a
Mm.
hell of a resume builder. People are doubting us. People don't think that we're a paper tiger, whatever you want to phrase,
Right.
and they can knock that, or erase that from the discussion points, because if they get a win over 11th ranked Texas Tech, then they'd be in a good spot. Um, I, I think you just need to go in and you need to be, if you go rebound and you continue your improvement on defense, you'll be okay. But if I don't expect this to be easy though, and boy, do you have a quick turnaround because you got the Jayhawks coming in on Monday night, and it's an interesting 2 game stretch. But Grant's teams are really good on the road. They are. And UCF doesn't have a bad loss. Their only questionable loss was in Stillwater when Oklahoma State was kind of playing pretty well, but their other losses are against Arizona, Iowa State, and Vanderbilt. These are all ranked teams. These are all
Right.
top 15 teams.
Right.
So, I mean, it's again, it's a tricky game for you for sure.
Okay, now shift over to the Kansas Jayhawks. This is a team that was a bit up and down for a while, but they seem to have, well, and part of this is with Peterson being healthy and on the floor, obviously, but they seem to have found a groove and look like one of the better teams in the league right now.
Yeah, and they've almost had to figure out, it's almost like 2 different teams with Peterson and without, but I
Right.
think they figured out a way to play without him and with him. Uh, Woodman, he's thought to be the top player in the draft.
Hmm.
I think that the only question there is that the health and um, the muscle spasms and all these things, but they've got some pieces that could potentially guard JT in a one-on-one situation. I know that the last few times they've come to Lubbock, it has ended poorly for the Jayhawks. I'm sure that will be on Bill Self's mind.
Yes.
Melvin Council has been really good for them. So yeah, it'll be. It's not quite the Kansas that you're used to, but it's really close. And you could be getting them in a way at the wrong time, as opposed to if you'd have got them 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe they were right. But now they seem to be figuring it out, and I expect a big time battle against Kansas on Monday night for sure. And you're going to need your crowd and the whole thing. So and again, interesting 2 game stretch for you.
No question. It
And
was,
and here's a crazy thing. If you are right now, you're second in the league, okay, in the conference race behind Arizona. If and you're tied with Houston. If you hope to try to contend for this conference championship, I mean, you 3 losses in the league is probably too many. So you've already got one. I mean, it's going to be really tough to get done because I don't know when Arizona is going to lose.
yeah,
I thought that the BYU thing would be interesting. I mean, they hung on at the end, but they dominated BYU for
right.
38 minutes. and you have to go to Arizona, but you also still have to go to Provo, and you've got to go to Ames, Iowa. So, I mean, it's just that there's just not much margin for error here if you're trying to, and I think that's the goal, obviously, to win them all and try to see if you can't win a conference championship like you did in football. But just don't have much more margin for error. So these games are massive.
All right. We've got a few questions we'll finish off with level regarding NFL draft, portal type of stuff, NIL. So we'll scatter shoot a bit here. We'll start with a couple of draft questions. This question says, how many Red Raiders get drafted this year in the draft?
Well, I mean, I think there's some no-brainers, and it's difficult on some of the draft stuff because I remember years ago, it's like if you'd have told me Jose Leo Hansen, for example, years ago, if he had gone undrafted, I probably would have bought it. And yeah, I think he ended up being like a fourth round pick or third round pick. And you're like, whoa, I mean, one of those kinds of deals. Zach McPherson's another one. I think both of those were Eagle draft picks, and they're both DBs. So strange that I make that comparison.
Hmm.
Um, David Bailey's going to get drafted. Romello Height's going to get drafted. Lee Hunter's going to get drafted. Jacob Rodriguez is going to get drafted. I think that Cole Wisniewski has done a great job of enhancing his stock in recent days. Um, I think Caleb Douglas and Reggie Virgil, those could be like fourth, fifth round or undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
You know, am I forgetting anybody?
I think you mentioned, I mean, I guess Baron Morton's the other one that I guess could
Yeah,
be
and again,
in the mix.
he's going to be in the mix for sure. As a late round or undrafted free agent type guy. Your AJ McCarty's, your John Carlos Miller's, I don't know. Those guys may get camp invites and stuff like that. But yeah, you're gonna have, so I don't know, 6 to 7 to 8, depending on how
Yeah.
it goes. And that's a big deal for James Blanchard. That's it doesn't like it, you can't really use it toward the portal class that you've just put together, but over time that those are proof of process, to use James Blanchard's verbiage there. Like, you come here, we will enhance your situation.
Yeah.
So like Will Jados, I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see kind of. I'm sure there's more, but I just but yeah, think about what we're saying there. Like, you could have 6, 7, 8 guys drafted. When's the last time that happened?
I can't
And
remember it ever
I'm
happening. Yeah.
sitting, I'm sitting here like ho humming it right now. Because next year you could
Yeah.
have, I mean, 10 drafted.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. It's crazy. Here's a question. This one comes from Jackson. It says, Level, as a Cowboys fan, which Red Raider would you most want to see the Cowboys take in a draft?
well, it's funny because they could use, like, it's all about need, right? Like,
Right.
you want to take.
Yeah.
There's always these in the when it comes to a draft. If you start drafting for need, that's what gets you in a bit of a pickle. More often than not, just take the best player and then figure out the rest. Like, take the talent and sort it out.
Yeah.
Well, if you have two really good starting receivers and the best player is sitting there and he's a wide receiver, you could make the argument. Quarterback, same way. It just so happens, though, that the Dallas Cowboys need an edge rusher and they need linebacker help, significant linebacker help.
Sure.
So if it makes sense and David Bailey or Jacob Rodriguez are sitting there when you're picking, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I would say to you, Cole Wisniewski could also be a fit there because the Cowboys need safety help as well.
Sure you could.
So
Yeah.
any one of those three guys makes a ton of sense. Lee Hunter, probably not, because you've got Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and Odigizua, and you're kind of loaded and you've spent a lot of money in the
Yeah.
interior there. So Lee Hunter probably doesn't make a ton of sense from a need standpoint, but the others certainly do. And the talent would certainly suggest that they could be drafted fairly high, especially David Bailey, who's going to be, he may be gone by the
Yeah, I
time
bet
you're
he
picking 12. Yeah, I
Cowboys
mean
picking
that's
12.
the
I don't. I
yeah,
think the only way. I think the Cowboys have the 12th and 20th picks in the first
correct.
round. I think the only way you
You're
can
not
get big
trading
in
up.
Bailey is if you combine those picks and trade up, which
And you're not doing that.
wouldn't be
They
smart.
need too many. If anything, they would look at a move down.
Yeah, to
They
add
would look at
more.
a move down, but you're not you're not trading up for anybody. I mean, yeah, you because you just need too much.
Yeah.
Because your Dallas Cowboys franchise and mine is just mismanaged at times, but they just need so much on defense.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I think Bailey in most mock drafts, if you look at him, is a top 7 type of guy right
oh
now.
yeah, he's
So
like
that
sixth,
wouldn't.
seventh, eighth, and again, part of it is because, like, say, Dante Moore decided to come back to college.
Yeah.
So the fewer quarterbacks that are taken at the top end, it moves those elite position players up a spot. Because if the Cowboys were sitting there at 12 and there was a ton of top end quarterbacks, that would only benefit you. But because it's probably Mendoza, and then I don't know if another quarterback is taken that high, that moves everybody up a spot.
This question comes from Mark on Twitter. It says, Level, can you speak to the CSC threats we've seen on social media? Is Tech or SEC schools pushing the envelope on NIL deals? Which schools may be expecting a letter? Thanks. I'll hang up and listening.
It's a toothless organization right now. I think Texas Tech is trying to follow the rules. They're submitting NIL deals and trying to get them approved like everybody else. But in this really, I know Texas Tech has been a bit more outspoken, but this is a state of Texas deal. They cannot, basically, the CSC is basically wanting all these schools to sign an agreement that says you can't sue us.
Hmm.
And I think Texas Tech has basically said state law prohibits us from signing something that would remove that from the equation.
Right.
So this is a Texas thing, a Texas A&M thing, a Baylor, whatever. Um, so that's partly why. But it is. I don't know who's going to get letters. I don't think anybody at Texas Tech is worried about it, that kind of thing. But you will. I know this is a shocker for many to hear. You will continue to push the NIL envelope like the majority of Power Four schools are.
Hmm.
Contrary to popular belief, you didn't get everybody you wanted in the portal window. Several people outspent you. I know this is hard for people to hear out there in the world because other folks are just getting their guys to play for free, even though that it's just the Texas Tech oil money thing and all that. And speaking of, they've proposed these jersey patches, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I would hope that people would think long and hard and just troll the entire country by putting an oil rig as your jersey patch. I don't know who pays for that or who sponsors it, but
That'd be
Double
funny.
Eagle, the oil and gas industry, it doesn't matter. But I'm really rooting for the oil rig to be on Texas Tech's jersey because just you've leaned to it in many other ways. Just continue to lean into it, man.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in. Count me in for that one. All right. One more question before we close it down.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like you could put like the little Houston Oilers logo or the pump jack on there, whatever you want to come up
ooh.
with. But yeah, just lean in, lean in.
This question comes from Caleb. It says, is it fair to say Tech is done in the portal, or will there be another late ad or two?
I don't think it's fair to say you're done. I'm not expecting. I think that there would be minor additions. These are more, you know, are you really ever done? There's plenty of people in the portal. Maybe the timing is interesting. But yeah, I think you could still add a few bodies at receiver. Because here's what is a tell to me. Okay, has Texas Tech officially like sent out a release on the portal class yet?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Still working on some stuff.
Well, I mean, so
Yeah.
but yeah, I think the remaining possible additions would be minor, would be my guess, but you never know. But heck, man, really, if you want to, just tamper with somebody and say, "Hey, drop out of class, just enroll here. We'll get you in." I mean, it worked for Miami.
What in the
I,
world?
I know. Only Texas Tech plays the NIL game and all those things. But if you need a quarterback, just go tamper. So if you need something out there, just go tamper. Nobody's going to stop you.
Miami, Ole Miss. Yeah, there's
Oh
stories all
yeah,
over
I
the
mean,
place
yeah,
about it.
the Dabo Sweeney thing,
Oh my goodness.
quite fascinating. I was, yeah, insert the popcorn gif or meme right there is
Just
like I was like, ooh, this is good.
sit
And
back and watch.
have you seen that if you go link to that kid's profile on the roster page at Clemson, it takes you directly to Dabo's press conference?
No.
Oh yeah, they leaned all the way in there. Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So, and I mean, I don't have a problem with it. He's got receipts.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
but I don't
Yeah.
know if Ole Miss is like, did they do anything wrong? I mean, my deal is you can't really complain about tampering because why would a kid want to leave? Are you not taking good enough care of them, whether it's financially or um, otherwise? Because if you were, they would never want to leave no matter what somebody was saying to them on the other side of the, a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways,
But
but that's just my take. Yeah.
we're still lacking major structure in college football, college athletics. We know that. So we'll see if it ever gets there.
Yeah.
Level. We will post our next episode next Tuesday because you and I will talk after the Monday game with the Red Raiders and the Jayhawks. So hopefully we're talking about 2 wins next time we reconvene. And enjoy your trip to Orlando. Go put some Mickey Mouse ears on.
Yeah, which I was kind of hoping it was in the general vicinity. I've been to Orlando one time before. We played there 2 years ago for basketball. I think well, it's like 45 minutes away. There's
Yeah,
zero semblance of being in Orlando where UCF's campus is.
right.
Um, it's like it would be like being in Lubbock and wanting to see the other side of Plainview or something. It was just a long ways away. Yeah, a long ways away. So I was very disappointed. And I was just wanted, hey, some billboards, just see Magic Kingdom off into the distance. No,
Yeah,
it was nowhere near
none of
there.
that.
So yeah, we were definitely in the residential part of Orlando, and it's just okay. There's nothing special about it. So all the fun stuff was a long ways away.
Well, darn. But well, the fun stuff can be at the arena. Hopefully,
I
you get a
know.
win. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate it.
That's Chris Level. I'm Chois Woodman. You've been tuned in to the Ask Level podcast, powered by the Double T Sports Network.
You've been listening to the Ask Level podcast, powered by the Double T Sports Network. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more great content from all of our shows on the Double T Sports Network.